My parents tried to take my inheritance for my sister, but my grandparents had other plans. I am a 28-year-old man from a family with a long history of favoritism. My younger sister, Amy, who is 25, has always been my parents' favorite, especially my father's. This started when we were children and only grew stronger over time. Amy was treated as the golden child from my earliest memories. When she was 2 and I was 5, my parents threw her a grand birthday party with professional face painters, a bouncy castle, and even a petting zoo. My birthday that year was just a small family dinner with a store-bought cake. That moment set the tone for the years that followed. As we grew, the differences only became clearer. Amy always had the latest toys, nicer clothes, and more attention. I remember saving for months to buy a bike when I was 10. When Amy wanted one too, instead of teaching her patience, my parents bought her an even better bike the same week. This favoritism carried into school as well. My parents went to all of Amy's school events, but rarely attended mine. In 4th grade, I worked for weeks to prepare for my role in a school play. On the night of the show, my parents arrived an hour late and missed my main performance because Amy had a minor stomachache. Academically, I pushed myself hard. I joined the math club, consistently earned straight A's, and even won first place at a regional science fair. None of this seemed to impress them. Meanwhile, Amy once scored a B+ in her weakest subject, and they threw her a special dinner and bought her a new phone to encourage her progress. High school was even harder. I kept a perfect 4.0 GPA, joined nearly every activity, became debate team captain, and served as editor of the school newspaper, all in hopes of earning their recognition. Amy barely managed a C average, but they never pressured her. In college, I was chosen as one of only 2 students from my university to attend a prestigious summer program at Harvard. I was proud, but when I shared the news at dinner, my dad quickly changed the subject to Amy's upcoming dance performance. They did not even drive me to the airport for Harvard, because it fell on the same night as her concert. A friend's parents gave me a ride instead. When I was accepted into several top universities with a large scholarship, my parents brushed it off. "That's good, but don't let it get to your head," my dad said. My mom added, "Just remember us when you become a big shot." In contrast, when Amy barely graduated high school and chose not to attend college, they praised her for knowing herself and even bought her a car as a graduation gift. All of this deeply affected me. I struggled with anxiety and depression through my teens and early 20s. Therapy in college helped me realize their behavior was not my fault. Over time, I built my self-confidence and learned not to rely on their approval. Despite their lack of support, I managed to succeed. I graduated with honors, built a solid career in finance, and bought my own home by the age of 27. My parents were not proud of these achievements, but I was. The real conflict began after my grandfather, my dad's father, passed away. He had built a successful business from nothing and left behind a sizable estate. In his will, he divided his assets equally among his children and grandchildren, including me, Amy, and our cousins. My inheritance came to about $500,000, a life-changing amount that could help me pay off loans, invest, or even start a business. When the will was read, my parents were clearly upset. Later, they pulled me aside and said it was unfair that Amy and I received equal shares. Amy, who still lives in their basement and works part-time at a coffee shop, insisted she needed the money more. My parents demanded that I give her my share, saying it was the moral thing to do. When I refused, they became angry and accused me of being selfish. My dad brought up every instance where they had supported me, like paying for braces or buying school supplies, the bare minimum, while ignoring the car they bought Amy and the ongoing financial help she still receives. The situation escalated. As executor of the will, my dad announced he would reinterpret my grandfather's wishes and give my share to Amy. He argued that my grandfather would have wanted it that way given our unique situation. I reminded them this was illegal and pointed out that Grandpa had always treated all of us equally. My mother accused me of disrespecting him by suggesting otherwise. Amy remained passive, saying only, "Mom and Dad know best." Frustrated, I turned to my grandmother, my grandfather's widow. When she heard what was happening, she was furious. She explained that my parents had once tried to convince Grandpa to leave everything to Amy, but he refused. He had insisted that all his grandchildren should be treated equally. To prevent disputes, he had even included a clause stating that anyone who challenged the will would lose their share. Armed with this information, I confronted my parents. They looked guilty but tried to justify their actions by saying they only wanted to secure Amy's future. My grandmother, however, acted quickly. She contacted the co-executor and the family attorney, and she also informed my dad's siblings. Together, they stopped my father's attempt and ensured that my grandfather's wishes would be honored exactly as written. Although my parents were unhappy with me, they were eventually forced to back down. They argued that I should have resolved the matter privately, instead of involving others, and accused me of turning the family against them. My mother cried, saying I had divided the family and betrayed their trust. I told them I had never expected anything from them anyway. When my dad threatened to cut me out of their will completely, he warned that if I accepted my inheritance, they would cut off all communication. He even suggested I would no longer be welcome in their house if I inherited it. In a particularly harsh remark, my mother said that by taking the money, I had shown I never truly loved them and was only waiting to profit from their deaths. This situation divided the extended family. Some cousins were supportive, understanding the history of favoritism and appreciating that I stood up for myself. Others believed I should have given up the money to maintain peace, arguing that family harmony should come before financial matters. My dad's siblings, however, were firmly on my side, though it strained their relationship with my parents. Amy was caught in the middle of all this. She confided in me privately that while she felt bad and had never asked for this, she could not bring herself to oppose our parents. She admitted she had been conditioned her whole life to depend on them and seek their approval. I do not blame her, though a part of me wished she would support me, just once. This situation brought back many old wounds. I found myself remembering the birthdays I missed, the school events they skipped, and the achievements that went unnoticed. This one conflict seemed to reopen a lifetime of unfairness. Even though the dispute created a major rift in the family, I stood my ground and kept my inheritance, as my grandfather intended. My parents hardly speak to me now, and family gatherings have become uncomfortable. For the first time ever, I skipped our monthly family dinner because I could not handle the cold treatment and hostile looks. Despite the turmoil, I feel a small sense of empowerment. For the first time, I am confronting the favoritism directly and refusing to be dismissed. It feels both painful and liberating, yet the family drama has drained me, and I began experiencing anxiety attacks again, something I had not faced since college. To cope, I am considering returning to therapy. I often wonder, was I wrong to stand firm and take my inheritance? Should I have just given the money to Amy to keep the peace? While I am tired of being treated as the family scapegoat, I also fear completely losing my family. Any perspective would mean a lot. Update: 6 months later. Much has happened since my first post, and I want to thank everyone for the support. It gave me strength during this difficult time. On the legal side, many advised me to consult an attorney, which I did. He confirmed I had full rights to the inheritance, and that my father's attempt to redirect it was indeed illegal. He helped me document everything and prepare for legal action if necessary. Fortunately, it did not come to that. With my grandmother, the co-executor, and my dad's siblings involved, the matter was resolved outside of court. I received my full share, and the will was carried out exactly as written. Because of his attempt to manipulate it, My dad was removed as executor. It was a stressful process that lasted weeks, with threats of lawsuits, tense meetings, and heated phone calls, but in the end, the law was clear. Still, the family fallout has been significant. My parents initially doubled down, accusing me of being greedy and uncaring toward my sister. They also tried to sway other relatives by spreading claims that I had pressured my grandfather into leaving me money. Thankfully, most of the family saw through this. About a month after the will was settled, there was a very unpleasant incident. My parents showed up uninvited to a family gathering hosted by my aunt. They started shouting that I had stolen from Amy and turned my grandmother against them. My dad yelled that I had ruined family memories, while my mom threw an old photo album at my feet. The situation was extremely tense until several relatives intervened and persuaded them to leave. Through all this, my grandmother became my strongest supporter. She shared stories of how proud my grandfather was of me and explained that he had kept a scrapbook of my achievements, newspaper clippings, college acceptance letters, and even the program from the school play they once missed. Hearing this was both comforting and bittersweet. My grandmother also decided to set the record straight with the wider family. She hosted a gathering without my parents and laid out the long history of favoritism, including incidents I had forgotten or never even known about. Having my experiences validated after so many years was deeply meaningful, though it reopened old scars. As for Amy, she finally found her voice. She came to me and apologized for not standing by me sooner. After many long talks with me and our grandmother, she admitted she agreed that our parents' favoritism was wrong, but had always been too afraid to challenge it. We had heartfelt conversations about how our upbringing affected us both. Amy revealed that being the favorite child was not as ideal as it appeared. She never learned independence because our parents constantly stepped in, which left her feeling pressured and unprepared. She told me there were times she wanted to do things on her own, but they always took over, denying her the chance to grow. That conversation marked a turning point in our relationship. We began to rebuild our sibling bond, meeting regularly to support each other. In a surprising move, Amy announced she would use her inheritance to attend college. She said seeing me stand up for myself gave her the courage to take control of her own life. She enrolled in a local community college with plans to transfer to a university later. Our parents were shocked. For the first time, they saw that their constant sheltering had held Amy back. Their response has shifted over time. At first, they lashed out, trying to guilt Amy into quitting college and claiming I had turned her against them. When that failed, they changed tactics. After long conversations with my grandmother and seeing Amy's progress, my mother began to reflect on her actions. She even started therapy and reached out to apologize, admitting she had been unfair and asking for a chance to make things right. It is a slow process, but I am cautiously hopeful while keeping firm boundaries. My father, however, has been less willing to accept responsibility. He still believes he is the victim and remains distant, especially toward Amy for choosing college. He speaks little to me and continues to issue threats, such as selling our childhood home or forgiving us if we change our minds. Although it hurts to see him push both of his children away, Amy and I are determined to stand our ground. The dynamics within my extended family have shifted greatly. I now live closer to my father's siblings, who have been supportive, and my grandmother has shared from my aunts and uncles how they too had dealt with my father's difficult behavior over the years. Knowing I am not alone has eased the burden. I have also built stronger connections with cousins who stood by me. We even started a monthly cousins' dinner, a time to reconnect free from the older generation's conflicts. I have been using my inheritance responsibly. Paying off my student loans gave me real financial freedom. With the help of a financial advisor, I created a diverse investment plan and set aside money to potentially start a business in the future. One idea I am exploring is opening a community center that offers affordable mental health services and financial literacy workshops. The most meaningful use of the money, however, has been investing in therapy for myself and helping Amy access it as well. Both of us are learning to set boundaries with our parents and work through the impact of our childhood. While the process is long, I feel I am gaining the skills and resilience to heal from years of neglect and favoritism. This experience, while difficult, has also brought positive changes. I have learned the importance of boundaries, of standing firm, and of valuing myself without guilt. One unexpected result has been a shift in my career path. Handling the family conflict and engaging in therapy has shown me how strongly I care about supporting others with similar struggles. I am now considering returning to school to specialize in working with adult children of emotionally immature parents and becoming a family therapist. I have also begun volunteering at a local youth center, mentoring teens from difficult home situations. Being able to give the kind of support I once needed has been incredibly fulfilling. I am even thinking of creating a small scholarship fund for children from similar backgrounds, using part of my inheritance. My bond with Amy continues to improve. We set aside a monthly siblings day, just for the two of us. Our recent hike and picnic felt more relaxed and genuine than any time since childhood. Without our parents' influence, we are carefully rebuilding our relationship on our own terms. As for my parents, things remain complicated. My mother has been making efforts. She now attends therapy regularly and has started to recognize how her favoritism harmed us. We have shared several one-on-one lunches where we discussed our past and how to move forward. Progress is not perfect, but it is visible. My father, however, continues to resist change. He insists he has done nothing wrong and claims Amy and I should be grateful. He avoids being in the same room as me and has skipped several family events. Though it is painful, I am working on letting go of the need to change his perspective or control his reactions. For Amy and me, our grandmother has been our anchor. She shares stories about our grandfather's pride in us for standing up for ourselves. She has been a strong advocate for fairness and an excellent mediator. Through all of this, I have learned valuable lessons about what family truly means. Sometimes the family you choose can be more supportive than the one you were born into. Along with close friends, I now lean on my aunts, uncles, and cousins who showed loyalty during these struggles. Setting boundaries and prioritizing my mental health has become essential. I no longer feel guilty for saying no or for putting my well-being first. For so long, I chased my parents' approval, neglecting my own interests and passions. Now I have the freedom to explore them. For anyone facing similar challenges, my advice is this: do not let others make you feel guilty for claiming what is rightfully yours. Even if it creates conflict, you have every right to protect yourself. Family dynamics may be complicated, but fairness and self-respect matter. It is never too late to start building the life you deserve. Seek therapy if you can, surround yourself with supportive people, and set healthy boundaries. Remember, your worth is defined by who you are, not by how your family treats you. I want to thank everyone again for the encouragement. Your support meant more than I can express during such a difficult time. Although the journey has not been easy, I now feel stronger, more confident, and genuinely optimistic about the future. I am determined to break the cycle of favoritism and create healthier relationships in my own family moving forward. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and click the notification bell to stay updated with more real-life stories.